Jacob, bring us home. Bring us home.
Guys, I'm like saturated right now.
No pressure.
It's one thing I want to say is the family feel that this has. You guys feel it? It's like really beautiful to feel the heart connection in this whole space. I mean, what has it been like? Almost 2.5 hours, and I feel so like feel so calm and connected to all of you. It's really, I think just to let that sink in for a minute would be really beautiful. It's like, wow. And all the people that might be actually watching, it's like, really, we're again, like Teahna, Antonia, Shine, Lisa, like everyone had a message that kind of wove itself. Right? I'm feeling Teahna's like channeled guidance of unity. Totally feeling you still. And then Antonia bringing the structure to that. And Shine, divine masculine, just showing up, bro. I feel you. So all this is just, yeah, right? And then Alex, man. I mean, I'm set. So I'm letting out my saturation so I can speak about what I'm going to speak about. I'm just so enlivened by all of you, so enlivened. So, what I wanted to present today is finding a new perspective through the body. Embodiment has been a big theme my whole life. So when I was young, I could see energy through people really deeply and feel it through myself. And I was like, am I having a future vision before things are happening? So I grew up in Boston, and I noticed a lot of people, they'd be living their life and I'd feel them and hear their thoughts, and they would be in two different places. So their body would be vibrating something, but they would be saying something else. Or maybe they're like, oh no, I can't do that. I have to be a banker. I can't do that dream because their body wasn't allowing their song to come through. Right? So my presentation today is how do we tap into that, and what is the body in the first place? And it's been a lifelong question and a deep exploration since I was probably about 5 years old, feeling energy openings through my being, going, wow, the body isn't just the mechanical, anatomical thing to get you going through life. It's not just this Darwinian model of surviving, that we have to get enough food in, exercise it so we can live, X plus years. It actually is something much deeper that I hope humanity starts maybe peeling away the layers so we can discover who we are. So finding a new perspective to the body, what is that? It's seeing the body as an instrument, as a guidance system that actually is expressing our truth, our longing, and it's expressing the consciousness that wants to come into this world. So the more we dip into the body and we release these layers, which I like to say is more of a feminine approach, it's allow the body to start unpacking all these timelines, everything we've been taught. We've been to school, we have ancestors from mother and father, but there's something more original in the body when we actually sit with it. And when we can sit with ourselves long enough in that quiet space without conditions, the body starts flowering open. It'll literally flower open. And you'll start hearing life speak through you, speak through me, with the new visions that actually want to ground here on the earth, to become who you are. That's what I mentioned. The divine, God, Goddess, all that is, whatever we want to call it, turn the faucet all the way up. And that faucet is running. Life is open. It's running in this time, especially this time. And if we know how to access that through ourselves, through our body, we're going to hear our best selves come through. Right? So why is the body important? I love being my own advocate, like my devil's advocate. So I'm like, I ask myself questions. So I'm like, why is the body important? Why is that important to unfold through? Because when we have a vision, when we're a visionary or we're a teacher and we want to ground something in the world, so our mind's vibrating here, but our body is still living in the past. It's like I've been using this analogy. it's like having 2 radio stations on at once. So you have just a radio station that's, I like to say ancestral data. It's kind of like everything we taught is kind of like static. So we just turn on, it goes to any channel we want. And then we start discovering who we actually are and the visions we want to actually anchor in. So our mind goes, oh my God, I want this. This is what I want. I want to live this. I want to feel this. But you're playing that song and this song at the same time. And what happens is no song can be heard clearly because all this other static, the body that isn't living that aliveness, that moment that we're all seeking this aliveness, hasn't released itself so we can start vibrating this new song through our being. So what is this song? How does the body listen? How does the body hear its own vibrational song? How do we heal the body so it becomes an instrument again that's not disregarded, but alive and connective, and we can actually feel each other and vibrate off each other? So during this conference, everyone spoke, and we were all sitting somewhere, we're all breathing, but we were all being touched somewhere inside ourselves. So our body was responding to every bit of information. It was actually going inside our body, because you can't feel without a body, right? So our body was accessing things inside ourselves, remembering itself inside ourselves, right? The last presenter, Antonia's. Oh my God, that feels right. That feels true. I feel that. I feel like something's birthing through me. That's the awakening of the body. That's when we start finding new perspective of what the body actually is and how we can use it as a meter, as a new guidance system into this new earth, whatever we want to call it, to your sovereignty, right? So what happens when we sit still? What happens when we just hold ourselves and we be with ourselves? Usually the first things that come up in the sensational world is we're feeling the past. So over 50% of our sensations are past related. It's not the present moment of guidance. It's usually a filter of, oh, I'm still processing that, the marketplace, or I'm still letting go of that childhood wound. So there's this intimacy and this caring and this attention that our body's being called. It's calling for our attention. So it can start unleashing the baggage that we've held on for so long, so the new can come in. It's actually the new that's pushing up all this stuff. And the more we hold ourselves and allow it to release, the more our body, its sovereignty and our guidance is just going to blossom forth into our life, right? The more we sit, slow down a little more and go, how do I feel right now? What does my body call for? What is the new that's birthing through my body? How do I feel? Because it's that intimacy and that felt sense. We're going to actually tap in to a lot of what wants to come through the body into this earth, into your expression, into what your knowing is, what your purpose, your passion is, in everything. School systems will change from that point of view, right? So, we're all sitting here and I'm talking to, I don't know how many people are out there I'm talking to, but just notice how our bodies were responding to this whole event, right? There's a greater intelligence in us that wants to merge with our ideas, that wants to birth through a felt sense of connection and belonging to each other. And I want to say the new perspective through the body is actually finding that aliveness again, that greater intelligence that may have been stuffed down from years of suppressing our deeper dreams and hopes, right? So my practice here I'm in Sedona, Arizona, is that I do transformational bodywork, and I help facilitate for people to feel. And after working with hundreds and hundreds of people, I've learned our bodies are guiding us, and we're either listening to it or running our mind over it, and they're not synchronized. So you get this deep, deep feeling, and you know it's right, and you know it's true, and it's this guidance coming from this ancient template inside our body. And we're like, no, that can't be right. It's not practical. It doesn't feel secure. And then we shut it down. And then we realize why we get sick or less energy, right? So life is birthing through us, through each other, through our mirroring effect. We're being tickled open, really, through all of this. And how much time are we giving this intimacy, this care, right? In the last year, I have a beautiful partner who has many horses, and I met her through horse therapy. And when I stepped in the field of horses is when I started being really in tune to what I'm vibrating through my body. And I learned even more deeply that the body is a song. And the horses don't really listen to what you say. They listen to how you feel. And then you get to discover how you feel even more deeply because you have the mirror effect. So now the horses, or I would say all of nature, but horses are profound at being empathic. They start to help us, maybe nature life is helping us to resonate and become coherent again. So our mind and our thinking in life, in our body, all these different levels and layers become synchronized with truth. And we're doing it right now to each other through this whole conference. You're not going to be the same person coming out of this video than you were that came in, right? So I'm going to do a little practice with everyone. I feel like I'm just like I'm rounding it all up in the end of going, yeah, we've been listening to this on a mental level, but what else are we listening at a visceral embodiment level? Where is it landing in the body, and how's it blossoming forth? And can we actually take it away, this information we're receiving from each other, at a very embodied level, so the next person they meet, they feel the unity. And the next person they meet, they feel the heart, they feel the entrepreneur, they feel safe to go under your wing if you have a vision. So yeah, I see the equine work. Yeah, thank you. The equine work is profound. Maybe you'll see her speak on this one day. I think she's listening in the other room. So I want to give a practice to the panel, people here, and also everyone who's listening, is how do you start awakening the body? How do we actually start hearing that intelligence that actually wants to come through and heal us? Because it's a healing intelligence that is actually always wanting to birth through us. So I want everyone to rub their hands like this. And we're going to just tap it. We're just going to say hello to it and see what you feel. And I want you to first put it on your heart, on your body. And imagine that for this moment of time, your face just relaxes and that your head can melt a little more downward into your body. So we're getting out of the thinking mind and feeling. And just start doing a slight circle around your heart. Maybe move just a little with your hands. And just ask your body right now, how are you? Like, what is it I need to know right now? How are you? What's the inspiration, the intelligence, or what is it needs listening right now so you can come into harmony with me, with my mind and my spirit? Because this is just an antenna. All we're doing is cleaning up the antenna. And feel the love come through your hands, because you're coming to it like you're hugging your best friend or an animal. Just feel the love come right through your hands and watch your body come meet that love, as if you're eliciting an intelligence or love out of your body. And see if it can meet your hands and smile back at you and go, wow, thank you. Now your body's probably going to start getting excited because you're listening. And if you're already listening, it's probably chatting away and having a beautiful conversation with you. And then bring your hands a little lower. So come to the lower belly where the organs are. Each organ is speaking to you as well. And just bring your hands wherever you need to bring them, and just start doing some small circles with them. And see if there's a place in your body that you forgot to listen to. And thus a piece of yourself that actually wants to come and tell you something about yourself to come online. Is another part of you that's waking up that actually wants to say, hey, I actually had a big template for you inside of you, but since now you're giving me the attention, I can rise out and integrate into you a little more, especially with your thought structures. Just give yourself this moment if there's anything else that wants to rise up for you. There's a deep, deep intelligence and flowering that your body's wanting to produce. That's guiding consciousness. That's guiding this planet right now. And then when we dip into this felt sense and heal the emotional body right through here, the more this intelligence is just gonna ripple out. It's gonna ripple through you like an antenna. Horses will love you, they'll snuggle you. Dogs, cats, and especially children. Why? Because they haven't put the layers on top of their body yet. Kids will feel ultimately safe with you. It's amazing. So for everyone who's listening, to just do this practice, to let every speaker into your heart and into your body and be like, wow, I actually was inspired. I didn't know. I was thinking about it, but I didn't know how much my being was actually alive. And going, oh my God, I need to jump on this bandwagon. Or not, or no, I don't know. But there is a deep knowing and guidance system. And the more we just bring it back here, the more we will be guided. There's a truth meter that comes alive in us that's guiding something deep and loving to create something new in this world. I feel like that's good. I feel like that's good, guys. So much love to y'all. There's so much I could say, but I just need to wrap it up.
Oh, that's so good.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Ourselves. I got so moved and touched by just what we witnessed here today in this space, and yeah, I mean, I'll give the floor to someone else because I really got moved by that. So thank you just to everyone, and present here and being with us and tuning in later on. Just wow, so much love and care and wisdom, and thank you, Jacob, and everyone else who shared their message and wisdom here today. If anyone else wants to just reflect and respond to Jacob's message, feel free.
Yeah, I'd love to just say thank you for that. Just such a beautiful reminder. I know that when I really started working with the feminine energies and coming back into these practices where, you know, we're remembering ourselves and feeling, really allowing ourselves to feel through our senses, the sight, sound, and really recognizing, coming from a childhood of PTSD and being an empath, and that, you know, that lock on the body and that, and those coats and those layers that I had to put on just to, you know, navigate and live. So just really love your message, because actually on New Year's I had a really big experience, you know, and I've been healing throughout the years, very open, but I did have my experiences where my chakras were opening on some level. I almost at one point thought, I'm wondering if this is a Kundalini awakening, because it was happening throughout the day, through my lower chakras, and then I came up to my heart chakra, and I grieved, and I was, you know, crying. It just spontaneously. And I knew this was happening, and I was allowing it, you know. I have come to a point where it's like, okay, I'm going to allow myself to experience this. It's not comfortable. It feels very intense and overwhelming. But I knew enough to say, I want to allow myself. This is something good that's happening. Yeah. My body something is coming through me energetically. And, you know, I grieved my dad's death, who had passed this year. I was able to feel friends across the globe and their love. And I was just able to feel so many different aspects. And it did at points scare me. You know, it's scary to allow ourselves to feel the spectrum. But so just to, you know, add on to the beauty of what you're saying is, yes, we're going to be scared, and yes, we're going to feel vulnerable, but it's okay, you know, and that it's good, because we want to become alive, and all of these layers have kept us sleeping and dead. And so yeah, thank you for that. And yeah, I'm hoping through this experience I had over New Year's that there is this new birthing of energy, and that I can consciously stay in tune with letting it come alive versus everything that we do to stop it from coming.
Teahna, thank you. Yeah, you know, what I've witnessed in the world is that a lot of people are unpacking what's inside, and it's making more an authentic, embodied expression of who they are. And a good test of that is how much more connected do we feel after letting go. Because a lot of people think connection might just happen up here in our culture, right? But connection's happening in our full spectrum. Every cell, every part of ourselves actually has a mission statement. And a lot of nature can feel that. A lot of life can, and the more we embody, I mean, more aliveness, as you said. More connection.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to add, I mean, honestly, Jacob, it's such a powerful message that we are cells. We're a colony of micro pieces. We are a combination, and then all of us together, all humanity, creates a colony of humanity. We're a colony within a colony within a colony, and we have to stand up and love ourselves. I wrote love ourselves. I was quite close with a CE double out. Because that's, you know, one of the things, I've interviewed somebody in a podcast who deals with women who have terrible self-image and how they hate their bodies. And then their bodies collapse on them, because if you constantly hate your body can't survive. And your cells are listening. If you say, you know, I'm so fat, I'm so ugly, I'm so stupid, people think the words are nothing, but our cells are listening. our bodies are listening. And there's a neuroscientist who works with Tony Robbins, Joseph McClendon III, and he talks about how we need desperately to say, I am fantastic, I am magnificent, because our bodies are listening, not only our brain, but our body, ourselves. You know, words are energy. The intention behind the energy matters. And I think what is wonderful, and all of us on this stage today, we're recognizing, and people, I'm hearing more and more people recognizing this, which is a change. It's a turning of a new era. It's fantastic. So thank you so much, Jacob, for your wisdom today.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a journey. I talk about Kundalini awakening. I was a Zen monk I have a little bit of a radical story, but I had a big energy opening. And I remember going into these amazing states of consciousness and going, oh my God, like these great potential, different levels of consciousness. But the funny part was then it wanted to embody. And that's when the life, but when it wanted to embody, that's when the work began for me, and going, wow, this is endless. This is profound. This will touch many people in the world. And, the more it came in to live love, to come back to love through my being and go, hey, you know what? I have a choice. I actually can emanate this and really feel it at a deep level, comfortability in myself so I can connect with life. That's when the spiritual journey for me in my work, in my profession really blossomed forth. And some people be like, I can't manifest this. I said, well, how many parts of your being are aligned to that right now? Do you have a sabotage program that really needs to unfold through your body? Is your body aligned to that yet? Or have you touched it that deeply? So some people are like, well, I always have this thought and I affirm, but it's not working. And I go, well, what part of you in your body do you actually feel that? Can you feel your connection to life, your beauty, your innocence? Or are you still thinking it and they're trying to learn to come together still? That's when I saw a lot of transformation of people, and especially myself, especially myself. How deep can love go? That's a great question.
I love it. This, as you were talking about your heart connection to everyone on the panel, and it feels like we've built a really nice container, and I've heard people describe it as like a resonant field, where
Nice.
I guess like when each person is sort of tuned and in that receiving mode, and then we take turns and we play off of each other, and it's just that next level.
Yeah.
There's so much that I can do in the receiving mode myself, but it just gets even more fun. It's like, you can make love by yourself, but you can also make love with another person or many people, and it just it can grow in the fun. So yeah, I'm really loving this. And then Lisa, what you said about the cells, it really feels like as someone who is kind of getting up every day and wanting to focus on projects and tasks and do stuff, and then also has team members that I'm wanting to focus on tasks and projects. I feel now, after this whatever 2 hours of connection time, where I feel very inspired and excited, and it's almost like I want to do a project with all of you, or just like keep jamming, because there's such a nice vibe, and it just has helped me feel more clear of how important that is in my day-to-day, where I want to really let myself rise into this state and then be so inspired to jump into the day. And if I'm working with a team, how can I support and create space for this if people don't have that practice themselves? Or like, how can we build these containers? Because I feel like the level of creativity and like there's the physical work, but there's the energetic, where we're actually attracting and playing on a different level, which I'm still wrapping my head around. But yeah, this has been really fun, and thank you, everyone.
I just wanted to jump in. Jacob, you mentioned, I think your partner has horses, and maybe you met through equine therapy. And one of the reasons that I was attracted to horses, I think, is that horses have this amazing heart energy. They radiate out from their bodies. And that's why you don't have to ride them just to get the benefit, just to be near them. They touch you. We go heart to heart with them from sort of 8 feet onwards. And I think that when you sit on a horse, and I'm going to add, someone said, why did I love horses so much? When you sit on a horse, you take your spinal energy, you take all your chakras and you line them on the horse's spine, and you literally connect like that. And you become a half horse, half human, and you are genuinely a centaur. And I always love to think of it as a movie called Avatar. I don't know if any of you saw it, where the guy plugs into his dragon. When you plug into the dragon, it works with you with a partner. And every time I get on a horse, I feel like I'm plugging into my dragon, and then the horse becomes part of me and I become part of the horse. And it's such an incredible feeling. So I just had to add that.
I've had a lot of similar experiences. And I mean, when I started working with horses, my empathic abilities and my energy levels took a whole nother level. I'd be in the shop, I'd be checking out at, a market, and I'd feel the person's being. I wouldn't go into the conditioned mode of going, oh, how are you doing? Great day. And it's all up here. I came from here and go, how are they holding themselves? What truth are they posturing through their being? Because you can't go up to a horse and be like, oh yeah, I saying one thing, and they're feeling the true posturing of your being. So they go, how authentic and real can you get? How embodied can you get? When I started working with horses, it took it to the next level. I'll put a link in to her work here, actually. That'll be fun. And then it took my work to another level too, of energetic counseling. This is what I do with people, going, how do we embody our energetics? How do we thrive? And nature is telling us, nature is speaking truth left and right. And it's hard, it's easy in this world to get disconnected. I mean, I live in the desert of Sedona, so it's kind of easy to tap in. But in a lot of places, that's a missing key. How do we get authentic with our full being again? What does that feel like? What does it taste like, smell like? Are we anchoring it in? Horses were a great way to call me out.
What I witnessed the last minutes was a lot of moving like this. So a lot of us shared and spoke like this. And what I really feel is that we spoke about vortexes before, and I really feel that we together today, we uplifted the vortex up of the festival to another level, because it's the first visible, feelable piece that steps out into the world. So that's like the birth, the visible birth of the project. And I think that what we created today is the beginning of this vortex that will continue to build on the seedling that we planted today. And it was only 6 of us today, and it was already magic. And now imagine where it can take us. And this is where